Wanna talk? So let's talk. Here. Talk. You wanna talk? You gotta talk, you need to talk. News talk.
I talk, you talk to Solomon. I talk, you talk to Solomon. Yeah, let's talk to Solomon. Talk to Solomon.
You gotta talk.
Welcome, my friends. It's Talk to Solomon time. That's me, Stan Solomon, my co-host,
Chief Steve.
Former Police Chief Steve Davis, and also our good friend Brent Johnson from freedomradio.us. Brent?
Hi there, Stan. Pleasure to be with everybody here today, and let's get right back down to it.
All right. There's something that is an issue for most of us in this country. It's called immigration, illegal immigration, illegal immigrants. We have with us Dr. Stephen Camarota. He is the Director of Research for the Center for Immigration Studies. Stephen, how are you?
Thank you.
Are you there, Stephen? Well, we just had him. Stephen, are you there? Stephen, are you there? Well, we'll start the discussion. Hopefully he'll join us here in just a second. There is a bill being presented by the quote-unquote Gang of Eight, led by Marco Rubio on the Republican side, Senator Schumer on the Democrat side, that wants us to believe that we should provide a path to citizenship for all the illegals in this country, with rare exception, with some minor speed bumps. Are you there, Stephen?
I am. I can barely hear you. You sound really quiet.
Okay, well, I don't know why, because no one's ever called me quiet my entire life. But, Stephen...
Can you hear me clearly?
We can hear you just fine. Talk to us about this immigration bill, please.
Right. I mean, there are basically three parts. One is to give legal status, which they get immediately, work authorization, driver's licenses, travel documents. The illegals get that 6 months after the bill passes. But they have to wait a while to get what's called a green card, which is lawful permanent residence. So you can work and travel and do everything you want, but you have to wait 10 years to get a green card. Basically, you get a green card light right away, and there's nothing that really has to happen. There's no enforcement that has to happen first. The only thing that has to happen is DHS, Department of Homeland Security, has to submit a plan to secure the border. Then, after the illegal immigrants all get legal status, they have to wait for about 10 years, then they can start to get green cards, and 3 or 5 years after that, they can get citizenship. Now, the other part of the bill is dramatically increase legal immigration. We let in about 1.1 million permanent immigrants a year, that is the green card, and this will take that up possibly closer to 2 million a year, but at least 1.5, 1.6. The reason it's hard to say is there's several categories in here that are uncapped. So any number of people can come in. We're just not sure how many will choose to. But you have to figure it's going to at least increase immigration by 500,000 a year or 5 million over the next decade, but possibly more, possibly 10 million more than would have come. So instead of 10 million coming over the next decade, 20 million might. And then finally, there's a promise of future enforcement, which a lot of those promises are actually pretty weak, but that's sort of the deal. We dramatically increase legal immigration, we amnesty the people here, and we promise from now on we'll enforce the law, kind of.
Now, I understand that it's only people that came here by the end of 2011 or some date like that. That is
right.
Not,
you have to have been here a year in theory.
Right.
How would you going to verify that? It's not clear. Will people game that system? Almost certainly. But in theory, you have to be here like a year.
Right. And again, anyone that believes that this is anything less than total surrender, total amnesty, and a total victory for liberalism and the Democrat Party, because all these people will become Democrats long before they become citizens. And by the way, they'll vote too, because we won't allow them, anyone to be identified, because it'd be somehow wrong to ask them if they're legal or citizens yet before they vote. So everyone knows this is a game changer for America. Am I right or wrong?
Right. I mean, it's a long-term boon for the Democratic Party in general. the amnesty is, but there's something else. I mean, I guess that people may not realize it's legal immigration that's mainly kind of dooms. Well, I don't know that it dooms Republicans. That's just simply not fair. It dooms sort of conservatives because all the survey research on the new immigrants, well, at least the ones we can do on Hispanics and Asians, are overwhelmingly in favor of government regulation, more spending, that sort of thing. And we have anecdotal evidence that the small number of European immigrants who come in now also are quite liberal in their political orientation, so the political system will respond to that. In short, it would be wrong to say that it's just simply a voter registration drive, but legal immigration is really means that conservatives are going to have a tough time in the coming decades.
All right, let
if
me.
It's allowed to continue. Obviously, we could change it, but
all right, let me turn to the panel here. Chief.
Well, can you say that one more time? You kind of faded out.
I'm saying I'm going to have some of the other panel members ask questions or make comments.
Well, two things. First thing, it appears to me that we're changing our immigration policy by, in days gone by, we've heard the stories of an immigrant comes here for freedom and be able to start a better life and to have a place for their family. And they're going to come here and work hard and become Americans. Well, the idea of becoming Americans is going by the wayside because we're having all these illegal people come in with their own philosophy and points of view, and they're going to take over. Second thing is, I heard a report today that also in this bill is a lot of pork for all the people that wrote it.
Well, that's always the case with any situation, but
including Marco Rubio.
Doctor, would you address the difference in concept? The idea of coming here to work, some of them do work, but the fact is they're coming here for the freebies. Now, I was told, I heard Marco Rubio say that if you get this green card light, you're not entitled to welfare or Obamacare or anything. Is that true or not?
Well, let me answer the big question first. Do most immigrants come to work? Yes. Do a very large fraction end up also working and accessing welfare programs? The answer is affirmatively yes. The vast majority of households in America receiving food stamps, if you look at the households that receive, say, food stamps, free school lunch, WIC, Medicaid, subsidized or public housing, or any of the cash programs together, most of those households have a worker. So there's this idea that hasn't really been true for about 60 years, that if somebody comes and works full-time, maybe even more, 50 hours a week, that they somehow are not going to be a big fiscal drain. That, they're hardworking. They may be. But no, the fact is that the American welfare system is very much geared to helping low-income workers with children, and that describes a very large fraction of immigrants generally and illegal immigrants in particular. Now, in theory, illegal immigrants are barred from using most programs, so there are a few exceptions, but their children aren't if they're U.S. born, and 3/4 of children in low-income illegal immigrant households are U.S. born. So the prohibition doesn't mean very much. You can easily have a situation where someone works here and they're illegal, or now they'd be legal, but they're not allowed to get Medicaid, but all three of their children are on Medicaid. They're not allowed to get food stamps, but the children could conceivably get food stamps. They have a baby who gets the WIC program. The kids could be in Head Start. The list kind of goes on because the children are U.S. born. So prohibitions against illegal immigrants using services doesn't mean that much. And remember, just take something like public education. We spend now about $12,000 a year on average to educate a child in primary and secondary education. So if you bring in lots of folks who make $20,000 a year, well, there's no way for them, if they have any children, to pay enough in taxes just on that one level. It's hard. They'll often not have health insurance. So either we pay for it as the person's uninsured and they show up at the emergency room, or they get Medicaid. In other words, if you had to put it in a bumper sticker, there's a high cost to cheap labor. There's a high cost to letting illegal immigrants stay, and it's a high cost to letting in people who don't have a lot of education, who work full-time. There's just no way to avoid it in the modern American economy, coupled with the modern American welfare state.
All right, Brent?
There is a very famous statement, I don't remember who actually said it, about the American system. It is that ours is a government of law, not men. And what it always meant was that the law is applied to everybody equally. Okay, that It doesn't matter who's in office. It doesn't matter what opinions those people in office have. The law is the law. The term illegal immigrant or illegal immigration, these are oxymorons. Immigration is a lawful process. That's what it is. A lawful transition from one citizenship to another citizenship. That's what immigration is. When someone comes into the United States illegally, that person is an invader. That is not an immigrant. That is not somebody by definition who has followed the lawful process. So number one, I have a real issue about the term that everybody uses, illegal immigration. It somehow justifies and legitimizes that which is a crime. It is against the law. We have to decide if we're going to be a government of law or a government of men. And if we're going to be a government of law, no matter who's offended by it, you kick out the people who are here criminally. You simply eliminate them. If that means that a lot of jobs are open, then a lot of jobs are open. At least then Americans have an opportunity to take those jobs. And don't tell me they won't, because I don't believe that. You've got 101 million working age Americans who are out of work. They will take work if work is offered. But as long as we continue to legitimize somehow that these people who have broken the law are supposed to stay here, as long as we continue to do that, there will never be a satisfactory answer to the illegal invader problem. You know, and nobody wants to hear it. The solution is deport the illegals and let their own countries figure out what to do with them.
Doctor, let's address that point. Did you hear it?
Well, I think, the sentiment of the caller, is perfectly understandable. In some ways I share it. I mean, I use the term illegal immigrant or illegal immigration because it's easily understood. The proper term in law, so to agree with him, is illegal alien. That is the term used in court cases dealing with illegal aliens across the country. So that is the proper term. Bottom line, though, is when you haven't enforced the law very much for 20 years, it's like maybe the analogy is squatters' rights, or at least this is Marco Rubio and his analysis, is that they have a kind of squatters' right. And it is that there are perhaps 4 to 5 million U.S.-born children now of illegal immigrants. Now, whether we should have given citizenship to people's children, to a child born in the United States to an illegal alien parent, virtually no other country in the world would do that, but we do. It's a fair question to say that was unwise, but we did it. And so now we're in a very tough situation. But I do think that we don't have to deport everyone. The best research indicates that about 200,000 illegal immigrants go home on their own each year. So it's just that more than that come, and that's what caused the population to grow. But we think the number coming is down and the number going home is up. So if we enforce our law, if illegals couldn't get jobs or access public benefits, if they couldn't get driver's license or in-state college tuition and all the other things we do, I think we could dramatically increase the number of people going home. And then after we'd shown for a number of years that we were serious about enforcing the law, then we can come back and decide if there's some share of that population who are left that we might want to amnesty. But you don't have an amnesty first and foremost, and that's what Rubio and his colleagues want to do.
All right, let me ask you this question. You guys study immigration. You're a facts and figures group. You have data. The reality is we're told these people live in the shadows, which is 100% horse manure. We're told that no one knows where they are, which is not true at all. We're told that they don't cost us more than they contribute, which everyone knows is not true. They've been a huge drain, and if it weren't for the fact that the Democrats could get votes from them, even though they're illegal votes, and use them to accomplish, in other words, if they didn't benefit either political party, they'd already be gone.
Well, there's something to that. Let me tell you something a little more depressive. It doesn't really matter. This is not good news, but it doesn't even matter if they vote, because it turns out that the census every 10 years counts them anyway. And then all of our congressional seats and apportionment are redrawn to reflect. In the last census, about 10 million illegal aliens sent their census forms back. I know that doesn't seem likely, but we're absolutely certain. There's no question that that happened. So, for example, California, which is overwhelmingly Democratic, already has several congressional seats has because of the inclusion of illegal immigrants. Non-citizens who are legal, there are about 10 million of them, or 12 million, they also, the congressional districts are drawn for them, but so is the city council districts, everything's drawn for them. And since the illegal immigrants generally live around people who share their general political orientation, the political system is already distorted to reflect the presence of the illegals. So they don't even have to vote. The fact is that it's already a boon, generally speaking, to Democrats. Not in every case, but in general, the extra seats, whether they're for the city council or for Congress, that are drawn are generally Democratic districts, whereas the seat that someone loses could be Democratic or Republican. But no, it's very outrageous. A state like Michigan or Pennsylvania, 97% of the population are citizens, literally loses representation so that we can create districts in which half the voters aren't citizens and perhaps a third are illegally in the country. And again, there is simply no question in the literature that illegal immigrants respond to the census. In fact, that's how we're able to estimate how many illegal immigrants are in the country. I don't want to go into a long explanation of that, but that's the basis for our estimates.
Right. The AP had a term, they don't call them illegal aliens, they call them undocumented Democrats. But
right, undocumented Democrats. Well, there's no question, as I said, that immigration, legal immigration in particular, is shifting the political balance towards the Democratic Party, and the Republicans just don't know what to do about it. The primary problem for the Republicans is all the survey research shows the immigrants just agree with the Democrats. So the Republicans, Rand Paul and others, Marco Rubio, can say, look, we've got to reach out to immigrants. Everybody agrees. But the fact is, people have preferences. They come to America with their own ideas. They're not just blobs of clay. And while it is not the case that they come because they hate America, some love America, some may not of it, but the fact is, the research shows they overwhelmingly agree with Democrats. Let me just give you one example. Of Hispanics, 75% said, when asked, would you like a government that does more and spends more, they chose that option over a government that does less and spends less. When they asked people about their hostility towards different ideas or concepts, I go up as the most hostile to capitalism. Even more hostile in the survey that the Pew Research Center did than self-identified supporters of Occupy Wall Street and self-identified liberal Democrats. So that's a very tough group for the Republican Party to reach. Doesn't mean they won't get any of those votes, but, 20, 30% is good for the Republicans. They might get more, but the fact is, these are not malleable blobs of clay that arrive. They come to America with their own values. That fact, coupled with the fact that the Hispanic elite, whether it's journalists or college professors or intellectuals, the Hispanic elite is overwhelmingly Democratic, and so that helps shape opinion. Hispanics are overwhelmingly settling in parts of the country that are Democratic, not in every case, not always, but in general, and that's shaping their public opinion and the countries and culture that they came from. And in a democracy, the political system has to represent the views of the people. If you change the people in the country, the political system has to change. It's that simple. If you don't want to end up with a much bigger government, you're going to have to look at your legal immigration policy.
Right, and try and bring in people that don't come from Marxist, socialist, sick, disgusting, failed third world governments. Of course, the option might be...
Right, I mean, you come from countries where the government plays an active role in the economy and the lives of people. And while there's often resentment to that, what the resentment seems to be is that they don't do it very well or efficiently or fairly. But the basic idea of a powerful and important government that plays a big role in the economy or what have you is something that a lot of immigrants share. Not all immigrants. You're generalizing. There are 40 million immigrants in the United States, 30 million legal immigrants in the U.S. So, you don't want to generalize. But as far as we can tell, Hispanic and Asian immigrants, and probably European immigrants too, are all liberal, and are disproportionately liberal, I meant to say, and that their children seem to follow a similar pattern in their voting, but most of all, their political preferences, what they say they want, support for Obamacare, support for gun control. One other final point, a lot of people say, well, but aren't Hispanics culturally conservative? There's conflicted evidence on that, but where the evidence is clear is it doesn't matter to them. Hispanics who are anti-abortion still vote Democratic because they like the Democratic Party on economic matters. Hispanics who don't agree with the Democrats on gay marriage still vote for them because there are other things, like whatever it be, income redistribution and social policy that they like better. So it's going to be very hard for the Republicans to reach Hispanic voters, because what the Hispanics generally vote on, as far as we can tell, is the more economic issues, and the Democrats are just more congenial to them.
Yeah, unfortunately, you're giving us all bad news, so I'm going to have to send you hate mail.
Well, it's not inevitable, right? You can change immigration policy.
Right, but we have to just...
But it's true that the leadership of the Republican Party can't seem to even think about these questions. They don't seem to want to be able to look at what the preferences of the people we are bringing into the country have, and so they just can't seem to think through what are the political implications, would a more slower pace of immigration make sense so that we can acculturate people more quickly and not shift the political bounds. They can't think of any of those things. They can't talk about it intelligently at all.
Well, that's because you said Republican and leaders in the same breath, which...
And intelligent.
And that's an oxymoron. Let me ask you about Rubio's spokesman saying, let me say it correctly here, illegal immigrants are like slaves. Did you hear that one?
Right. Yeah, I mean, obviously that's ridiculous and silly. I just testified before the Senate Judiciary Committee yesterday, and there were illegal immigrants testifying before Congress, self-identified illegal immigrants. So that's no slaves testified before the United States Congress.
Yeah,
it's
especially
just absurd or ridiculous. It's absurd.
With immunity. Brent, you have another comment here?
Yes, I do. America, one of America's fundamental principles, because it didn't exist before our country was created, was that when you work hard, you get to keep the fruit of your labor. What you earn belongs to you. Remember, in Old England, you were either aristocracy or commoner, and the commoner couldn't own anything. Commoner worked for if he was lucky, for the aristocrats. But whatever he earned was not his or hers. In America, when you earn money, it belongs to you. Now, whatever else you may think of me, and you can call me whatever you want, do I have the right to say that I'm unwilling to have the fruit of my labor taken from me and given to people from other countries to support them and their children when those people are not American citizens? Do I have the right to make that statement? It's not a question of whether you like it or not. If you don't have the right to make that statement, then you are the slave. You do not get to keep what you earn. And that's what America has rapidly been turned into. And it's not even a political issue. Okay, I know you'll say that's the liberals pushing it and all that, and the Republicans are not. But the truth of the matter is, the Republicans are going along with it. Republicans are allowing it to happen, and they're just as responsible in their allowance as those who promote these ideas. So if you don't want to have the money you've earned spent on illegal aliens, illegal invaders in our country, by giving them and their children, welfare and food stamps and all of that, do you have the right to make that statement? Rubio did retract what he said. He said he was sorry that he said slaves, illegals are slaves, and it's really not true. But what is true is that the American people, the working American people, are the ones who have been enslaved. And this is just one of the big issues by which they have been enslaved.
All right, Brent, we have to finish up on that point. Stephen, give folks your website and how they can follow your work.
Sure. My website is CIS, like Center for Immigration Studies, CIS.org.
Folks, I highly recommend the site. They really do have the facts and figures. They've done the research. They're giving us information. Sometimes we don't like it, but it's valid information. Stephen, thank you for your great work, and we'll look forward to having you back.
Okay, thanks for having me.
All right, sir. Folks, we'll be back with more in just a moment. We'll talk about, should your morals affect your investing? I say yes. If you go to Starbucks, urinate in a cup and give it back to them. We'll be right back. Let me ask you a question. Do you like being sick? I have in my hand an incredible product. It's called TR10 supercolloidal silver. TR10 stands for a trace to the negative 10th power. The particles in this silver product are 6 to 8 angstroms, 6 to 8 10 billionths of a meter. Now listen to me. Silver has been the magic bullet for all of human existence. The Egyptians used silver instruments. We use silverware. They put silver in your teeth because nothing can grow on silver. Silver will kill anything but liberalism. I'm working on that. This product, you go to cpnlive.com, buy 1 quart of this product. It will last you for a very long time. Anytime you feel like you've been exposed to something bad, take some of this product, spray it in your mouth, or take a little bit and gargle it, swallow it. It will kill any pathogen. The average antibiotic kills 10 to 20 different pathogens. This product will kill 700 plus. Do yourself a favor, do your family a favor, do your doctor a favor. He's tired of seeing you. Get supercolloidal silver. Go to cpnlive.com, order the product. It's $29.95 plus shipping. I think it's $39.95 delivered any place in America right to your door. It's worth 10 times that. Check it out. If you're not 100% happy, just return it and we'll give you your money back. I like to eat. You like to eat? We all do. And usually we run to the grocery store, we run to the convenience store, or we have something in the fridge. But power's been out in parts of this country in the last few weeks. We don't know what's going to come down the pike economically. Smart people are putting in food. Alpine Air Gourmet Reserves is a line of foods that you can put away that will last for a very long time. You know, they say eat what you store and store what you eat. This is great tasting stuff, healthy for you, a full line. You go to our website, cpnlive.com, and click on the button for Alpine Air Gourmet Reserves and see all the different things we have. This is good tasting food. It's reasonably priced. It will last. And it's worth its weight in gold if a problem arises. I know you don't think there's going to be anything that goes wrong. Actually, you do. This is smart. This is smart insurance. This is smart preparation. This is smart thinking. You have kids, you have a spouse, you have parents, you have dependents, you have an appetite. All those things can be addressed by a frugal but smart investment in Alpine Air Gourmet Reserves. Try them out. You will be tickled to death with the taste of them. You know what? In many cases, people start to eat this and they think, heck, this tastes better and costs less than what you're going to the grocery store to buy. cpnlive.com, check it out. Hey, my name is Stan Solomon, and you know if I have something to say, I'll say it. And I'll only tell you the truth because I'm a Republican, not a Democrat. Democrats always lie. Republicans only lie half the time. I don't lie at all. This is the Fuel Mule. It's an extraordinary product that was developed by a friend of mine, an engineer, and it increases the fuel mileage on your vehicle. If you have a combustion engine, this will increase your mileage by 10 to 20%. It bolts around your fuel line. You can install it yourself or have your mechanic do it. It is an extraordinary item and it flat works. I've been using it for more than 10 years. It's increased my mileage on every vehicle I put it on, and by the way, it will last forever. You can get rid of your vehicle, just take it off and put on the next one. Go to cpnlive.com. You'll have more information there. You can order it right there. We absolutely guarantee you'll be satisfied. The Fuel Mule. It's a way to kick down your cost of fuel and kick up your mileage. Don't you love the name? I thought of it. The Fuel Mule. Do you like being healthy? I do. In fact, this product, which I've been taking for years now, is absolutely the answer. Now, you may not believe it, but I'm actually 21, plus tax, of course. This product has 146 different healthful nutrients in it, and it's liquid, so it's bioavailable. It tastes great, and it's sugar-free. 1 ounce of Sonic Life each day will help you to maintain and enhance your health. It's a kind of a gift, well, that you'll thank your mom for, your husband for, your wife for, your kids for. Whoever you give it to, they're going to say thank you, and you are going to enjoy the benefits of having all the vitamins, all the minerals, all the nutrients your body needs in one very reasonably priced product. Just go to cpnlive.com and everything's right there. You'll be able to read all the ingredients. The price is right there, a flat price delivered to your door anywhere in the United States of America. Sonic Life is a gift, a great gift. Give it to yourself. I do. Hey, my name is Stan Solomon, and you know if I have something to say, I'll say it. And I'll only tell you the truth because I'm a Republican, not a Democrat. Democrats always lie. Republicans only lie half the time. I don't lie at all. This is the Fuel Mule. It's an extraordinary product that was developed by a friend of mine, an engineer, and it increases the fuel mileage on your vehicle. If you have a combustion engine, this will increase your mileage by 10 to 20%. It bolts around your fuel line. You can install it yourself or have your mechanic do it. It is an extraordinary item, and it flat works. I've been using it for more than 10 years. It's increased my mileage on every vehicle I put it on, and by the way, it will last forever. You can get rid of your vehicle, just take it off and put on the next one. Go to cpnlive.com. You'll have more information there. You can order it right there. We absolutely guarantee you'll be satisfied. The Fuel Mule. It's a way to kick down your cost of fuel and kick up your mileage. Don't you love the name? I thought of it. The Fuel Mule.